Hello and welcome, dear friends, at Lit eCity, the YouTube channel that provides you maximum resources for exams like NTA, NET, English. And in today's session, we have brought quick fire session of MCQs on Unit 10, that is Research Methods and Materials in English. It is relatively less prepared topic generally by students, but believe me, 5 to 6 questions will be asked from this unit, and we have tried to bring all relevant questions. So here is our first question. What is the term used for those variables that cannot be manipulated, changed or controlled? Dear friends, while doing research, we come across in our study various type of variables, and there are certain variables that cannot be manipulated, changed or controlled. Are they called constant variables? Then we have attribute variables, then we have categorical variables, and the last option is chance variables. Among all these variable types of variables, there are some variables which cannot be changed by the researcher. For example, first let me tell you the answer. The correct answer is attribute variables. Now dear friends, attribute variables like age of a person, or we can say the place where he or she lives, these are certain variables which are beyond the control of the researcher. That is why they are called attributes or attribute variables. The process of subjecting an unpublished research paper to the probing, to the investigation of experts in the same field. Experts of the same field is known as, the process known as, first option is peer review, the second is referring, third is scrutinizing, and the last option is weighing. And you have these options, both first and second means peer review and referring. Second is first and third, peer review and scrutinizing. Then we have second and third, referring and scrutinizing, and last one is referring and weighing. When these days UGC have taken many initiatives regarding the originality and authenticity of a research paper, and one among them is putting the paper for the investigation, for the inspection by experts, and this process is called both peer review and referring. So the answer is both first and second. Peer review and referring is the process of subjecting an unpublished research paper. After it is reviewed, there are some changes they are suggested by the peers, by the experts, and sometimes it is published without any change. How many digits are there in an ISBN number? First option is 11, second is 10, third option is 13, and the last option is 12. I hope you all know about ISBN, which is now an international serial number for books, and it is considered to be a compulsory part of the book publishing process. And when we talk about the total numbers in an ISBN, there are 13 digits in an ISBN number, and dear friends, right from 2018-19, the process is completely automatized online process, and all sort of books, if they want to be considered into your research activity, they must have an ISBN number. A chart consisting of a series of rectangles drawn next to each other without any space between them, and each representing a frequency is called. There are different type of charts which a researcher can use to represent the data, and one among these is this type of chart. Is it bar chart? Then we have histogram. Next option is staked bar chart, and the last one is frequency polygon. So I hope this is rather an easy question, you can understand it. It is basically a histogram. If you don't know about a histogram, this is like x and y axis and series of rectangles, and they without any space these are now you've drawn in this manner, and each particular bar represents a particular frequency. Our next question is, in which of the following scenario a questionnaire is not a good choice of data collection? Once again, data collection, to collect data there are many methods, there are many techniques. Questionnaire is one among them, and you have to find out which among them is not a good choice. First option is, if the study involves uncomfortable topics like drug use, sexuality, or other taboo subject. The respondents are geographically scattered. Then we have the respondents are mostly illiterate, and the last option is the respondents are generally from corporate sector. Okay, dear friends, out of many methods, two are quite common. One is questionnaire and second is interview. Now, for a questionnaire to be effective, it is quite necessary that respondent must understand the content of the questionnaire. So if they are illiterate, then it is not. Illiterate means they can be old people who find it difficult to understand the content, or they may be about children. In such cases, interviews are much better than questionnaire. Otherwise, if it involves some kind of, we can say, uncomfortable topics in which a person hesitates to talk openly, then questionnaire is definitely a good choice. So these all factors matter when we decide the technique of our data collection. Which of the following is generally not found on the copyright page of a book? Generally, the copyright page is on the left side, just after the cover page, and the options are the year of publication, the edition dates, next is information about the printer, and the last is MLA style code. Now this copyright page is very important because it provides all information related to book, because the cover only indicate about the title and author. Other important technical related information is available on this cover. And dear friends, it is the MLA style, whether it follows MLA style or some other style of writing and reference, it is not mentioned on a copyright page. All other things are mentioned there. Which among these is not considered as a typical methodology related with literary research? Now, literary research is quite different from other researches. Even in sociological kind of field, literary research has a distinction of quite a different approach. So, is it textual? Then we have critical. Third is empirical, and the last option is historical. It's rather an easy question. You can understand that when we are doing literary research, we need text, and there is a critical method employed, and historical approach is also a very effective tool in literary research. It is the empirical, which is based on a relation between fact, data, and revelation or discovery of truth. It is generally not dealt with in literary research. The purpose of is to summarize the existing research that has been done on the subject in order to put the new research in context. So it is a part of research, we can say, method. This particular part, it is known as research design. Is it bibliography? Is it synopsis? Or is it literature review? The purpose of this particular part of research is to find out what has been done on the subject earlier and how this makes the subject relevant today, and what new addition, what new dimension would be done by the research. So by giving this explanation, I hope now you can get the answer. Obviously, it can't be bibliography. Research design is the whole project. So now the two options, and out of these options, the correct is literature review. In fact, literature review itself is part of synopsis. Synopsis is, we can say, a short summary of your research plan and all how you will proceed with your research. Which among these is a feature of a structured interview? The options are: a predetermined set of questions, provides uniform information, allows flexible interview content. So is it first and second, first and third, second and third, or all of the above? Dear friends, the interview can be of two types: structured and unstructured interviews. A structured interview is quite rigid in its approach. The question is already, you can see the answer. The correct answer is first and second. So you understand that the set of question, because it is a structure, it is always predetermined. So you always get you always get from the interview uniformed information. Obviously, if it is predetermined set of questions, then there is no flexibility in interview content. It is always already decided what the interviewer can ask from the interviewee. Which among these is considered as secondary source of data collection? Now, dear friends, data can be collected directly, primarily by the data collector, or it can be gleaned, it can be, we can say, collected from other sources that are known as secondary sources. So, is it observation? Second is interview, third is questionnaire, and the last one is census. Once again, an easy question. If you understand that what happens when we collect data from secondary source, we depend on some other earlier collection of data like census, which is done by the government, and we took our data from it. So census obviously is a secondary source of data collection. Which among the following options shows the correct order of a research process? How does a research go? So is it define research problem, then literature review, then hypothesis, and in the end research design? Or is it define research problem, then make hypothesis, then write literature review, and then create research design? Or is it first define research problem, then write literature review, then make research design, and then reach to the hypothesis? Or is it first formulate a research design, then define a problem, then write review, and then reach of hypothesis? If you have done any sort of research, you must know the answer. The correct answer is, first we must define our research problem, then we must look into the literature review, what has already been done on the subject and how our research will contribute to the area. Then we formulate a hypothesis, the problem is presented and how we will reach to one particular solution, and in the end we come to the research design, designing our research, what will be our method for data collection, experimentation, and all sort of things. Which among the following statements regarding ISBN and ISSN is not correct? Both are considered to be important terms related with the series number. Both ISBN and ISSN are 13-digit numbers. ISBN is used for single books, while ISSN is used for series, journal, magazines, newspapers. Different editions of a book require different ISBN numbers, while a single ISSN is used for all volumes of one series, and application of ISBN now is mandatory, while that of ISSN is optional. It is very informative, dear friends. It gives you all information related with ISBN and ISSN. The correct answer is first one, because both ISBN and ISSN do not have 13-digit number. ISSN is a 8-digit number, while ISBN is of 13 digits. A statement that introduces a research question and proposes an expected result is called first hypothesis, then supposition, formulation, or research objective. Obviously, it's a very easy question, dear friends. A research question, introduction of a research question, and what we will get the expected result. It is known as hypothesis. Which agency is responsible for providing ISBN numbers in India? There is one nodal agency that provides all sort of ISBN number. Is it National Library Kolkata, Raja Ram Mohan National Agency Delhi, National Archives of India Delhi, or both A and B? So Government of India is it correct that it has given two agencies this workload of providing ISBN number? No, dear friends, it's only Raja Ram Mohan National Agency at Delhi under the Government of India that provides ISBN number. In which of the following methods of peer reviewing journals the author doesn't know the identity of the reviewer? There are 2 or 3 types of reviewing. Is it double blind, post publication, single blind, or open peer review? Once again, if you understand the language of the question, it is rather easy question. It is, dear friends, single blind. Single blind is author doesn't know the identity of the reviewer, but reviewer can know about the identity of the author. If it is double blind, both don't know the identity of each other. Post publication is done by the publisher and he or she requests expert to review after publication. And open peer review, both the author and the reviewer, they know each other's identity. Okay, our next question: which among the following statements is or are true regarding descriptive research? The term ex post facto research is commonly used for descriptive research studies. In descriptive research, the researcher has no control over the variables. The common methodology used in descriptive research is survey or all of the above. Our literature, English literature, is a subject which is generally done with the research methodology applied in literature is generally the descriptive one. And dear friends, the correct answer is all these 3 are correct. Yes, it is known as ex post facto research, and because it is basically descriptive, so the researcher cannot change or modify the variables, and basically it is done by the survey. Our next question is: which among the following options shows the correct orders of entries as per the latest MLS style? Is it first author, then title, फिर container, then publisher, location, date? Then it is author, title, container, publisher, date, and in the end location. Author, container, title, publisher, date, and location. Or is it author, container, title, publisher, location, or date? Dear friends, the latest edition of ML style has introduced some changes from the 6th and 7th one. One very important fact is that now electronic resources are also part of MLA edition style. Please go through. If you find any relevant, Lit ECT channel also has some videos on it, but you can find other resources also. Remember, the correct order is author, title, container, publisher, date, and location. Also remember that all these entries have many sub rules also. For example, author, if it is a single author, if there are more than one author, if the author is not actually author but editor, all these things have certain rules. If it is a single author, we have last name, comma, first name. Similarly, there are rules regarding title, container. Container means the source from which the title work is referred. Various steps that are adopted by a researcher in studying his research problem along with the logic behind them can be collectively termed as different steps taken by the research. They are known as research methodology, research methods, or research design. So our option has both first and third, second, only second, both first and second, or only first. It's a very tricky question actually. There is a very little difference between research methodology and research method. Our correct answer is research methodology, research methodology is actually, we can say, the particular procedure adopted by the researcher, while research methods are different type of methods which a researcher can use in his methodology. Certain Latin abbreviations are frequently used in bibliographies and footnotes. Which of the following pairs is not correctly matched? Is it IVID, which stands for in the same place? Is it ND, which stands for not behind? Then we have CF for compare and ETA all for and others. One among them is not correct, and dear friend, it is NB, which is not behind, rather it is note well. Our last question of the day is a program by Ministry of Education, Government of India that provides access to plagiarism detective software PDS to the universities and institutions in India. Is it Turnitin? Is it InflipNet? Is it Shodh Shuddhi, or is it Urkund or Urkund? Dear friends, all these are somehow related with we can say plagiarism detection software. Very important one. Turnitin is very popular among them, but the correct answer is Shodh Shuddhi, which is adopted by Government of India and available to all universities and institutes to check plagiarism. Otherwise, Urkund is developed by Lucknow University. It is also available. This is all, dear friends, for today's video. I hope you liked and gained some knowledge about research methods and materials in English. That is Unit 10. For more videos, keep watching, keep supporting. Thank you, friends.